Well, Paris Saint-Germain's Kylian Mbappe scored twice in the second half to help guide his side to a 4-1 comeback win at the 10-man Barcelona in their Champions League quarterfinal second leg, and they wrapped up a 6-4 aggregate victory on Tuesday. Rafinha gave Barca the lead in the 12th minute, while PSG's Ousmane Dembele fired home for the visitors in the 40th minute to equalize. 14 minutes later, Vitinha put them ahead with a strike from the edge of the box in the 54th minute. João Cancelo fouled Dembele in the 61st minute to concede a penalty that Mbappe fired into the top corner. And with this win, PSG, they've set up a semi-final clash against Borussia Dortmund.
¿Cómo me siento? Me siento contentísimo.
I feel very happy. Very happy. I think my team deserved it throughout. We have been in the game at all times and we started in spectacular way. It is obvious that the expulsion plays an important factor, but everything and the fact that we played against a team for much of the game with one less man, you have to know how to play this type of game to avoid making mistakes. I think the result is fair.
Creo que el resultado es
una pena, pero
it's a shame, but I'm extremely proud of, as a coach, as a killer, to have reached where we have with the conditions as we have. When we played 11 against 11, we did very well. Well, we have been better than Paris Saint-Germain, and this refereeing decision cost us the game.
rebenta el partit.
Well, Borussia Dortmund stormed into the Champions League semi-finals as well with a rip-roaring 4-2 win. It's a home win over Atletico Madrid on Tuesday that saw them fight back from a 2-1 defeat in the first leg to win the tie 5-4 on aggregate. Julian Brandt put Dortmund level on aggregate in the 34th minute, and 5 minutes later Dortmund took the lead in the quarter-final tie as Ian Mastsen cut in from the left and drilled a perfectly placed shot in at the foot of the far post. Dortmund had not reached the last four of the Champions League since they finished runners-up in 2012-13. This is just the fourth time that the German side have advanced beyond the quarterfinals.
Extrem glücklich, extrem zufrieden und sehr stolz auf.
Yes, we felt it from the first second we came out to warm up today, that everyone wanted to use this evening to channel their energy in the same direction and make it possible. We experienced how difficult it is to play against a team that received the support of 74,000 people or over 70,000 people last week, and we wanted to counter that today. And I think that's why I mentioned in my opening statement that it's a fantastic evening for everyone. For everyone who sympathizes with us and with the black and yellow. I think this is the fourth time in BVP's history that we have made it to the semi-finals of the Champions League. That shows how special it is. But it would have been impossible if we had not all believed in it.
Von der ersten Sekunde, als wir heute rausgekommen sind zum Warmmachen.
In this game, we went through a first half where we had the first very important play with Alvaro, but it did not resolve with a goal. In the second half, the team started very well at the beginning of the second half. We had goal scoring opportunities. We also had one from Angel, which was very good. He scored very well, but unfortunately then it went just wide of the post. They did not have those kind of situations, but they were very convincing.
And Manchester City are ready to host Real Madrid in the return leg of their Champions League quarter-final tonight. City will host Real Madrid at the Etihad, having overcome them in the semi-finals last season on their way to winning the competition for the first time. Man City is also leading the Premier League standings, and they are in the final tour of the FA Cup. City also have a 2-point lead over Arsenal and Liverpool in the Premier League with 6 games remaining. Real Madrid, meanwhile, they have forgotten the last season's heavy defeat at City in the Champions League, according to coach Carlo Ancelotti. Last term, Real had played out a 1-1 home draw with City in their semi-final first leg before being thrashed 4-0 by Pep Guardiola's side, who won the competition for the first time.
I don't think we have to look at what happened. We have to look only at tomorrow's game. How to approach tomorrow's game, taking into account what happened a week ago. and nothing more, and compete and fight and have confidence in what we are trying to do. The match was even, the result is even. There are another 90 minutes. Anything can happen. If we talk about individuals, Haaland is still one of the most dangerous players Manchester City has. But I have a lot of confidence in my team, my players, in what we have done this season, how well we are doing now, because we are doing very well now.
I would like, I'm not going to say don't feel this to my players when they feel it. I have a different opinion. We are far away from that hypothetical dreams. So we are in the final FA Cup, when we are 1 or 2 games left with, 3, 4, 5 points advantage, and we are already in final Champions League, I will start to think about that. The same feeling I have the previous weeks when we draw against Arsenal and the people say, no chance of the computer. I don't know the computer play right back or left back.
Well, Arsenal will take on Bayern Munich in the second leg of their Champions League quarter-final tonight. Bayern Munich have a slight edge over Arsenal in the Champions League, given their rich history in the competition, but they still have to be at their best to beat them. Bayern have not gone beyond the quarterfinals since winning their 6th European Cup in 2020, while Arsenal are yet to get their hands on the crown. Meanwhile, Arsenal lost 5-1 on their last 2 trips to Bayern in the Champions League and have won only 1 of their 6 away matches against the German side in the competition. Arsenal have the chance to qualify for the semi-finals of Europe's elite club competition for only the 3rd time, the last occasion being in 2009. And Arsenal's manager, Mikel Arteta, said that his side must change the narrative versus Bayern Munich given their poor record against the German side.
A performance that put us in the Champions League semi-final, and all the preparation has been to achieve that, and we have earned it. We have earned it for 10 months and everything that we did last season to start that journey in the Champions League after so many years, and tomorrow I have an unbelievable opportunity to make it happen. We have to change it, and the opportunity comes there. There's a lot of things that we can do to write that story very differently tomorrow. We know that, and it's going to be about putting a very, very strong performance, collective and individually, to earn the right to win the semi-final.
Wir brauchen wieder alles. Wir brauchen die gleiche.
We need the same dedication and passion and the same effort as a team. And then we need the same tactical discipline as in the first leg. We probably need a bit more. That would be normal. Of course, we really want to win this game. We hope that the fans will create the same atmosphere for us this time as they did for Arsenal. An extraordinary and unique atmosphere that simply carries the team.
Verlierer geht raus. Wir wollen
And Ole Barrett now joins us from London with more. He's been following the Champions League very closely. Ole, PSG winning against Barcelona. What are their chances of a title?
Well, you have to say, based on their record in the competition, that PSG have not shown previously that they have the mettle to win the Champions League. They've never done so. The furthest they've gone, of course, is 2020. You mentioned that final against Bayern Munich in 2020 that they lost. But it is a key ambition of the club. They've pumped huge amounts of money into the side to try and get it to Champions League winning standards. But there's been a bit of a shift in ethos in the last year or so, perhaps away from some of those major superstar signings towards trying to get a team together that could potentially win what is, in many people's view, the biggest prize in football, certainly in European football, the Champions League. They have the superstar Kylian Mbappe in his final season at the club. He is desperate to bring that title home before he leaves, and they have huge amounts of talent. But as I say, they've never won it before, going into the final only once, and there have been various examples in recent years of that team slightly falling apart when they get to the latter stages. So that will, I think, be on the minds of many Paris fans going into the next stage.
True, so it'll be a maiden title if they get there. But Dortmund winning against Atletico, another Spanish side, out along with Barcelona. What's troubling the Spaniards?
Well, certainly in that Dortmund game, it was another fascinating encounter. Atletico letting in more goals than they would have liked. The Barcelona PSG game was a slightly different kettle of fish. You had an early red card in that one for Barcelona that made it very difficult for them to come through over a long match against a team full of players, as I say, like Kylian Mbappe in the form that he has been in at times this season. But of course, Real Madrid still, for now at least, in the competition, so Spanish interest hasn't been completely extinguished. But we know that Barcelona are not the side that they once were in the upper echelons of the Champions League latter stages. They've had all sorts of financial problems in recent years that have meant they've had to look at their squad in a different way as well. But as I say, Real Madrid certainly hoping that they can keep Spanish interest alive a little bit longer.
And as you say, well, Real Madrid is a Spanish side that's still in the hunt. But, you know, you as an Englishman, your heart must be with Manchester City. What's the outlook like?
Well, there's English interest in the Real Madrid side as well, with Jude Bellingham playing such a key role for the Spaniards this season. So either way, in this tie, there'll be some English interest retained in the next round as well. I think Real Madrid know that they face a very, very difficult task against a Man City team that beat them so comprehensively in the competition last time around, last season. But at the same time, Real Madrid feel that they've improved their squad and will perhaps feel that they've got a decent chance of it this time around. But it'll be very interesting, a lot of people are saying, to look at that English midfield matchup of Phil Foden on the Manchester City side and Jude Bellingham playing for Real Madrid, two of English football's absolutely key talents. So for all of those English football supporters out there, there's lots to watch in this game.
Well, and lots more to watch perhaps also in the Arsenal matchup against Bayern Munich. What's the outlook there?
I think it is considered that Arsenal have a tough task on their hands going to Bayern Munich with the crowd and everything that it can bring in terms of atmosphere in Munich, but also because of Arsenal's record against Bayern in this competition. It's not very good. Arsenal have much less experience in the later stages of the Champions League than the German Giants do. All of that said, Arsenal during various parts of the Premier League season have looked very, very good indeed, according to many onlookers. The other side of that same coin is that in the last few matches in the Champions League and the Premier League, Arsenal have just slightly stuttered as they head towards the denouement of the season. So certainly Bayern, I think, will be wanting to capitalise on perhaps some nerves among the Arsenal players. They, of course, also have an Englishman as well, Harry Kane, heading for, or at least attempting to hit Bayern Munich goal-scoring records this season. A former Tottenham Hotspur player, he will be desperate to knock Arsenal out.
We leave it there. Thank you very much, Ole Barrett, for your insights from London. Still to come here on DD India